Hey friends, you're listening to the AI Entrepreneurs Podcast, where we talk tools, stories, and strategy for today's founders. I'm your host, Angelina Shively, and this show is for entrepreneurs who are curious about AI and want to know how to transform their businesses. In each episode, I share honest conversations about what's working, what's not, and the lessons learned along the way. If you're ready to use AI to save time, think bigger, and build smarter, you're in the right place. Let's go. I'm so excited to have Tracey Bauer here today with Lens on Luxury, and I want you to tell us just a little bit about your origin story and how you got started in this amazing business.
Yeah, I'm kind of weird.
We're
Um,
all weird in our own special way.
yeah. I grew up in upstate New York. I went to engineering school. I studied chemical engineering, Worcester Polytechnic Institute. I ended up coming on a vacation to California, and I stayed back in 1992 with $600 in my pocket. It was insane.
Oh my gosh.
I would never recommend anyone else on it to do this. Completely freaked out my family. I ended up living with a boyfriend in Berkeley who was nuclear engineering graduate school.
Oh my gosh.
And I fell into, doing some different jobs, and I fell into working in the optical industry. And I was naturally just really good at sales. And I thought I would go to Berkeley, which has the School of Optometry there. But the optometrist that I ended up working for was like, Tracy, you're way too good in business. And I helped optometrists, the couple of places that I worked at all excelled while I was there. I ended up, the last place I worked at, in 6 months, we doubled their income and we tripled it in 18 months. But it wasn't just me. It
Right.
was the dot-com boom started to happen. So that was
Okay.
1995 through 97. And it was a great time to be in San Francisco with that boom happening. And then one of the optical companies asked me about being a rep. And
Okay.
I moved over to the wholesale end of the business. And I pioneered this beautiful, like really well done brand out of Los Angeles that was new. They had 9 accounts, it blew to 130 accounts the first year. But they were great designers, but hot mess as business people.
Okay. So you were able to come in, support them, get them going.
Yeah, grew their business a lot. But then one of the larger of the companies approached me about working for them, and I moved over because I had no life that year. I pioneered the whole Midwest, Canada. Like I was traveling all the time for this company. So I ended up taking a more local job here in Northern California, and amazing experience. The company's now called Luxottica. When I first worked for Luxottica, I think I was employee, I think it was like 331.
Gosh.
Yeah. So I started working for them in the 90s, and it, I just got to see the evolution of the eyewear industry, which was really cool. And I worked on the Ray-Ban brand, the rebrand of that. I was an account manager, but I was the first of the Ray-Ban reps here in Northern California. Now there's tons of them, but I pioneered most of this territory. It was really funny back in the 90s. I would be out and about and I'd eat and I'd be like, $5, $5.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
You know, it's thing that bought them here in Northern California.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds so you gain all of this knowledge, experience. You are this expert in your field. And then how did that transition look when you were like, okay,
Yeah.
change?
Yeah. So I ended up working. So I worked for a couple of different companies. I left for 5 years. I felt like I needed to grow. And I actually ended up coming back to Luxottica. And the last 13 years of my career, I worked on the Chanel eyewear brand. but I also got to work on a lot of the luxury brands. I worked on Bulgari and Tiffany and Company, and so a lot of luxury positioning. So what ended up happening is, I have a little hobby, which is kind of a big hobby, but it's a very obscure thing. I play contract bridge, which is one of the three Olympic mind sports, Go, chess, and bridge. And to give context, there's about 2 million people in North America that play bridge kind of socially.
Okay.
30,000 people play tournament bridge. And I got asked to go to the US trials to potentially represent the United States at the World Championships. In context, 60 people went.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And this was something that I had worked at that point, I don't know, 16 years, maybe 17 years. And I went to my director to say that I wanted to take this time off. And we had moved, I had a month's vacation because I had so much tenure. And we had just the previous year moved from vacation and PTO to unlimited PTO, unlimited PTO, which is the biggest farce on the fucking planet. Because I used to take my 3 to 4, and I usually never took the 4 weeks. I usually only took 3 weeks, but I would go to bridge tournaments during that time. But it's my time to decide what the hell I want to do on my vacation. And my dad used to yell at me. He's Tracy, you should be on vacation and you're stressing yourself out. Why are you doing this? Anyway, I asked to go to the US trials and she gave me a hard time. So it became an HR thing. That was a death knell to my career. So even though I had been a President's Circle person, I was one of the early first people at Luxottica, $1 million rep, way back. And I lived and breathed that company. Like people jokingly called me like the Lux girl, because not only did I do luxury brands, but I worked for Lux and Luxottica. And a lot of the other companies wouldn't even offer me positions because they thought I would leave. And I was so disrespected. I got to go to the trials. My little bumpkin team actually went all 2 weeks and made it to the finals.
Oh my gosh.
I had one of the most exciting time frames in my life where we bopped off the former USA One team, and it shouldn't have been this exciting thing. Instead, I woke up to an email from my boss threatening my job, saying she was not approving my second week to be there.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I read this email. I put my laptop down and I went and meditated for 45 minutes. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to leave. I don't know
Right.
what it is, but this no longer serves me.
Yes.
And I had no idea. So I went through a whole existential crisis the rest of the year because multiple things happened to me. Once I had a director. I was only a few steps down from the top. Once my director decided to turn against me, game over. I never made another bonus that year. I went from, making almost $200,000 to seriously, I was at $90,000 into October of that year. It was devastating. It, yeah. And my kids were college age and so expenses up the wazoo. And I live in Marin County, which is one of the most expensive places to live, the San Francisco Bay Area, very expensive place to live. She was just screwing me. And she screwed me the whole year. And anyways, I told you I did engineering.
Right.
And if you saw, I did a reel not too long ago, and it's pretty funny because the language model geeked out. Granted, they can be sycophantic, but I was on one of the early online games before the internet. It was like engineering schools, and we would telnet. It wasn't the internet like it is today. And that game is still up and running in Sweden. And you can see I made it to like God level and I actually built worlds inside the game. So it was like a Dungeons and Dragons if you've ever played Zork back in the way back, where it was all text based and it was 2400 baud. You would put in something and then you'd wait. You'd do other things that you were waiting for it to come through. But anyways, yeah, so I'd always been pretty techy. Early Apple products, early BlackBerry products, all of it. And so while I was still at my corporate job, because of the bridge thing, I got involved with AI imagery, AI tech while I was still at my corporate job. And I was starting to learn everything because I was looking at it as a problem of how can I help the bridge world market itself better. So
And so that kind of you shifted into that role, even though it was not expected,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you made it, like they say, lemons into lemonade, right? And how did you come upon? I love the name of your business, and it kind of it is lens on luxury, a little play on words. So tell us a little bit about how you went from that's a huge shift.
right.
How did you go from corporate to becoming your own entrepreneur business, right?
Yeah, as I told you, I was still in my corporate job. This thing had happened to me. This was like May of 2023. In October of 2023, a bunch of things aligned. The American Contract Bridge League had a new CEO, and I ended up taking a project and went there on my vacation time and looked at helping them revamp their social media. And it was something I did inside the Chanel Eyewear. We were helping doctors understand that their digital presence really mattered for business. And one of the things that Chanel did is they would audit all of their dealers, not like I worked in the optical industry, but they were auditing Neiman Marcus and Saks and Nordstrom and anyone carrying their products they look at. And what they were looking for now was not just that you are truly luxury in a beautiful store and the location, neighborhood, like they really care about all of that stuff.
Right.
They were caring about your online presence. And this was all the way back in 2018 and 2019.
Right.
In the optical world, a lot of these gorgeous, beautiful, high-end shops that were carrying their products failed the digital presence portion of the audit. And so October of 2023, I went to a Build Your Brand live event, which Jen Gottlieb put on with her husband, Chris, and Billy Jean came. He was one of the 10 speakers there and talked all about AI. So I attended that event. I was still in corporate America, but I was looking more on the bridge stuff. And during that event, I met HighLevel.
Okay.
And then I started to pay attention. I didn't buy in then because I was still in corporate America. I started paying attention to HighLevel. Then in Thanksgiving, they did their sale at 50% off. And I was like, wow, all of these optometrists need this. Let me test this out. So I bought it. I got it like 3 months for 50% off, and I got it. And I started interviewing all of the optometrists that I worked with. What were their pain points? Who are they working with now? What are the price points that they pay for different features? And just started to build things out. And, HighLevel is so much easier now with AI Studio, Ask AI. I did a video at Ask AI yesterday. Amazing. Have you used that yet?
I haven't, but I saw
Oh
your
my God.
video and I gotta run. Go check it out.
Yeah. I mean, it is you have to go play with it today. The next time you need to build something inside HighLevel, just go to the Ask AI. But you could just, even if you have a question, you know, go look up this content yesterday. So I tested it with Dory and I didn't film this one, but it found Dory in my contacts and billed her a payment and emailed her a product. It built a product, a payment, and an
Oh
email.
my gosh, stop it
Like,
right now.
all I had to do was talk to it.
Oh
It
my
did
God.
it all.
And is that free right now?
It's free right now. Yeah, it's free
Okay.
for everyone to test it. And then it will come with a $97 AI employee with unlimited tokens right now, unless they find people super abusing it, is my
Okay.
understanding. You know, if you have emails and voice AI and things like that are attached to it, you're going to have costs associated with that. So your text messaging costs will be there, your email costs will be there, but using the actual AI is not costing anything more than the extra 97 add-on once they add that.
Okay. Game
Uh,
changer. Because I mean, I know so many people can sometimes feel overwhelmed by all of the features with high level and understanding what goes where. And even now, sometimes I'm over here,
yeah.
one screen open, trying to figure it out, whatever. But
Yeah, so you have to go activate it in labs. So
okay.
go into your labs, and as an agency, we have to activate it for all of the sub accounts. And the sub account level, they have to go activate it.
Okay. Amazing.
Yeah, so go down to your settings, go find it.
Yeah.
Pick
Yeah.
it.
Love it.
But AI Studio, you can make apps. And it is everything High Level does is they launch it in skateboard form, but they're fastly, quickly iterating it. So it is going to eventually, that's where we're going to make all of our funnels. That's where we're going to make our apps. It's going to automatically hook things because our GHL is already to Stripe and PayPal or whatever processes we use. It's automatically going to make the forms and hook everything. But what was so impressive about Ask AI yesterday is I had it do an email and I was just testing it. So I took an email that I built the day before and I had this series of 50 conventions in 50 days for the bridge world that I'm building. And I grabbed day 19, but I changed it on the top to day 20 because I already had a day 19 in the system. So I didn't want to get it confused. But the body of the email said, stay tuned for tomorrow's day 19 and Ask AI caught that. It said, before I publish this email, this bottom, would you like me to change it to day 20?
Amazing. That's crazy.
Right. That it wasn't just doing what I asked it to do, which was fascinating to me because I use a product it's OpenClaw, but it's GenSpark called GenClaw. And that's the same thing. That product is proactive. It doesn't just take my commands, it's recommending things that I should do for myself and my business.
Super fast friend, if you're loving this episode, make sure you follow the show and leave a 5-star review. And if you want help actually using AI to build content and sales, come join us inside the school community, AI Amplified Entrepreneurs. The link is in the show notes. And Tracey, I just want to commend you because your brain is like on fire. It's always thinking. And I've seen this in just watching you on social media. You're always like looking at how we can use these tools more effectively. And you are just out there doing an amazing job of like sharing all of your knowledge. So can you tell us a little bit about, I know you've done a lot of travel lately and like, what is your partnership with High Level and what is, I just want to know all the things.
So I don't know. Okay. So when I got into the high level ecosphere, it was overwhelming. Even though I am a pretty techie person, I live in the Bay Area, it was a lot to learn. So after a couple of months, I went through Billie Jean's course about Facebook ads and stuff, and that was really impactful and how to use it was like rudimentary and high level, but in the ad space. So that was super helpful. But I eventually found HL Pro Tools. And I got involved with HL Pro Tools, and the first 2 years of my business was so helpful. So I was in their platinum program with Matt DeSeno, him helping me. And High Level also had Molly Mahoney did one of their like 5D challenges type of situations. And I watched her and it's funny. I had a friend of mine who's even older than I am that came out of corporate America and actually worked in government. And she was like, what is when everyone here is like 30-year-old bro marketers? And it was so
Right.
off-putting. And that was a lot of what we're putting out all of the time. And then Molly came along and it was super refreshing. And she
Hmm.
also gave so much. So I kind of started to follow Molly and I got involved with her eventually. So between Matt DeSanto and Molly, they really helped me. I'm one of those super connectors in the world. I, I've always been that way. And I went to one of the very early SaaSpreneur events that High Level put on. And one of the speakers there is like, you go to, because it was going to be my first level up. They're like, you really should do VIP. It is the only way to fly. So I've been doing the VIP, which then also allowed me to get to know everyone. And talking about High Level, when I was in Costa Rica, High Level reached out to me about me maybe doing something with them. And I have a meeting on Monday.
Amazing. And so was that a retreat that how did that?
So you watched me do a lot of travel.
Right.
So I spoke in Cancun at AI Unleashed, which was Michael Reimer and Fur Patel put that event on. And that was different than a lot of the speaking events. What they wanted it to be like was really workshop based, where people would come in and actually learn things and actually implement them and leave there with concrete stuff for their business. So, like, I have people that have built AI video series now after that. So I spoke in that event, and the next month I went to Costa Rica. That was Caitlin Portillo. So she puts on, what was it, Kicking Sass, Costa Rica. So there at that event, and then that was mostly about social media because the other event was a lot more agency owners. This
Right.
not a mix between agency owners and a lot of just entrepreneurs and business owners. So I went a little bit more broad.
What I've seen, I mean, we're talking in a span of 3 years, you have developed yourself as an expert in this field. And it's just really amazing to watch you and learn from you. If you were to give, our audience just solid advice about, posting to social media, I know there's a million things you could share, but what has been for you something that has been really powerful that you've learned in your time there?
I mean, a few things of advice. I think there's a ton of people that are shifting careers right now.
Mhm.
Some of it is because they want to shift. Many people are being forced to shift, and
Great.
AI is going to force everyone to shift. So, first off, everyone needs to learn AI. I know there's lots of people that are against it, but you are putting yourself at a disservice. It is a tool, just like a computer was. You
Right.
It will supercharge what you're able to do. And if you become proficient in it, you'll have job security. So the people that are not willing to learn and stretch and grow, one of my biggest mentors in the optical industry, I she worked at EssilorLuxottica and I had left for a while and I came back. She's and one of the things that she said about me is you're like a fun light. You just keep growing and growing and having that growth mindset. And right now in AI, somebody posted, I can't remember, was it you or somebody else? Somebody posted just yesterday about it's very hard to find AI experts because everything is moving so quickly. Like
Right.
a new tool tomorrow. Like it's every 10 days, and these AIs are doubling themselves.
Right.
So you can get involved in this now and really start to catch up to people because the next tool is going to come out and you can become an expert in that tool. So don't feel like you're left behind. There are the whole world to educate on AI. There is an abundance. People need to look at that in that space. There's a lot of us that can be teaching AI because there's so many people that need help and a lot of people need one-on-one, right?
Yes.
Because it's
Yes.
very overwhelming. And a lot of people need mindset changes.
Right.
Going into social media, using a tool like HighLevel that makes it so easy. So to not make people crazy, look at the one platform that brings you the most joy and design around that, and then post it to all the platforms. Push it to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is being cited in AEO 4 to 5 times more right now than a lot of the other platforms. The AI is giving it a lot of weight. So LinkedIn is important. Instagram, July 10th of last year, opened up to, as long as you've opened up your personal profile and your business profile that people can scan it, then Google can scan. So it becomes a part of your AEO of your personal brand and your business. So super important to be posting on Instagram and YouTube. Everybody should have a YouTube channel. And then putting your thought content there is super important because that also, and a lot of us have moved over to Substack because it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I know that's the latest. I'm like, okay, now I need to get learning on that.
Yeah,
So,
and I was just doing consulting with one of my clients yesterday, and I was explaining to them is your blogs for your business is for the computers to read. That is the AEO of your business. It is not for a human to read. It's for the computers to read. Substack is for people to read.
oh, I love that.
So redo it in a way that is engaging for you to connect with humans.
Almost like adding a little storytelling into that as well.
Yeah, but don't overthink the blog content that's going to go out on your website. And if you
Right.
want, you can take your Substack article and also go push it over to your blog. But
Right.
avoid the stuff that's is really AEO optimized that's going on your website for your business and what the tools and stuff.
I love it. Make the content. That is
Yeah,
important. I love that.
yeah, Gary Vee says he pushes out like over 400 pieces on his own brands per day.
So if that feels overwhelming, then, just pare it back a little and,
I think I do probably close to 400 pieces of content across all the social for both the Bridge, my marketing agency, and my personal brand in a week.
okay. Wow.
So if you feel like you see me, there's a lot of content.
Absolutely. And if we want to see you, I'm going to put the links to all of your socials on the show notes. And if people want to reach out, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook and Facebook Messenger is the easiest because my company does so much social media management. I am in there a lot. I do most of my content is maximized for Instagram because I do a lot of visual type of content, but don't try to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I joke like LinkedIn is 1 out of 100 messages is an actual real person, so I don't take it very seriously over there. I scan it every once in a while to see if there's something real. Like I actually had an eyewear brand reach out to me recently, but that's the worst place to try to reach me. But the other thing is people, if they're interested, if people are new to AI, I recommend GenSpark as a
Yes.
game-changing product because it has so many tools. It's a wrapper, it has Claude, it has OpenAI, it has Gemini, plus so many embedded tools inside of it. And now they have OpenClaw. So that I have my Coco that I've been building and training, and what we did yesterday is amazing.
I just can't believe all the
The new
power.
website built.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
So pretty.
Love it. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, and I appreciate your time. Thanks for listening to the AI Amplified podcast for entrepreneurs. If you want to learn more about my work, head on over to my website at aicoachingwithangelina.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and share this podcast with a friend. See you next week.